What's up, everybody? This is Rob Schou here with EXP Realty in Southern Maryland. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Leonardtown, Maryland. Alright, so like I said, today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Leonardtown, Maryland. If you feel like I forgot anything or if you want to add anything to a pro or a con, make sure you comment down below. Love to have some information and some feedback of what you guys think out there as well. Alright, so before we get started, make sure if this is your first time on the channel that you click the subscribe button, you click the little bell so you're notified every time we put out new content about living in Southern Maryland. And honestly, use this contact information below to reach out. If you have any questions about moving here or if you're thinking about moving in the near future, I would love to help you find a home. So don't hesitate to use that contact information. We love to help people move down here, especially to Leonardtown, Maryland. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump in on the pros and cons. I'm going to start with the pros today, but before we even get started, let me give you a little background on Leonardtown. So Leonardtown has gone by different names for a while until it was named after our first governor, Calvert Leonard, way back when. Currently, Leonardtown is still our county seat. It is our only incorporated town in St. Mary's County, which means it has a mayor. Dan Burris is our current mayor right now of Leonardtown. But it also means that it has it collects its own taxes as well, which later on we'll get to that when we talk about the cons of living in Leonardtown. So another thing that makes Leonardtown unique from other areas in St. Mary's County and really throughout the Southern Maryland region, there's not many of these. There's a unique downtown in downtown Leonardtown. And we'll get into those details about what downtown Leonardtown looks like when we start talking about the pros. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the pros. The first thing that I think is a big pro about Leonardtown is all the new neighborhoods that are really starting to be developed around Leonardtown itself. So we have downtown Leonardtown, and then there's these satellite neighborhoods that are really starting to develop. Right away, I think of Clark's Rest, which is a newer one, and they're constantly adding new homes and townhomes. They have great amenities within Clark's Rest, and it just is a really well laid out community that's great for walking around in and just has a good feel to it. Another newer neighborhood is the Meadows at Town Run, which is up Hollywood Road. It's a smaller neighborhood for now. It's continuing to grow, and it's made up of mostly single-family homes with decent-sized lots. And people seem to really love living there. You're still close enough to downtown Leonardtown that you could walk on the sidewalks there, but most people still drive into that area. And another neighborhood that's really popular in Leonardtown right now is Leonard's Grant. Leonard's Grant isn't necessarily new. It's been there, I think, about 10 years now, but some of the homes are newer, and it actually connects to the back of Clark's Rest. So it's a really nice neighborhood if you're looking for somewhere that has a lot of different amenities that you could really enjoy if you like that neighborhood life. Alright, so I've talked about it a few times, but another really great pro of Leonardtown is the downtown area. Now, downtown Leonardtown is unique to Southern Maryland. It's a cute little area with a bunch of different little shops and a bunch of different restaurants that is just fun to go and explore. There's plenty of parking all around that you can just drive to, park, and walk around and see all the different shops. You can walk down to the wharf, which is down at the bottom of a hill, which is a great waterfront park. I don't think you can fish there anymore down at the front, but you can actually bring your own kayaks, bring your own paddle boards, and launch down there as well and fish Breton Bay and really have a good time with it. So that downtown is really, really, really unique, especially in St. Mary's County. And it's definitely something that is a pro for Leonardtown. Another thing about that downtown Leonardtown is just there's lots of events. They do the Christmas tree lighting, they do the First Fridays, they always have music down there, so there's just tons of family-friendly events to go on down there. So my pro number 3 is this is pretty unique again to St. Mary's County. Leonardtown is home to one of our only 3 golf courses in St. Mary's County, one of those 3 being on the Patuxent River Naval Air Station, so it's not open to other people who maybe don't work on base. But the cool thing about Breton Bay is it's a semi-private golf course, so the public can plan it, but you can choose to be a member, and that comes with a bunch of other benefits like using their tennis courts and pools. So it's a really unique, to have that near you if you're living in Leonardtown and be able to use those facilities. Even if you're not a full-time member, you can still go. Another pro that Leonardtown has is there's actually a fair amount of water access. Like I mentioned before, there's a kayak and canoe launch down in downtown Leonardtown, but there's also boat ramps throughout the area through marinas, and there's also free public landings on Medley's Neck Road called Abel's Wharf. So there's lots of different ways that if you don't live on the water, you can still access the water, which is really nice. And there's also waterfront properties available in Leonardtown, but they tend to be more expensive than other areas, and they don't come on the market often. So if that's something you really want, you're looking for that waterfront area in Leonardtown, it's something you got to be patient with and kind of take your time and jump on that property when the right one comes up for you. The last pro, and I think it's a pro, some people don't think it's a pro, the last pro is that Leonardtown, for the most part, is pretty much devoid of large chain restaurants, large chain, shops and stuff like that. You would have to travel to other areas to go there. A lot of people feel that's a good thing because then a lot of local businesses thrive a little better when you don't have those big chains. But if that's something that you think that you can't live without being within a few minutes of a Walmart or a Target, you might want to look closer to California, Maryland. But for me, I think it's a pro to see those smaller businesses kind of be successful in Leonardtown and downtown Leonardtown. And the last pro I'm going to talk about today are the schools in Leonardtown. Now, the schools in Leonardtown, based on the rankings on niche.com, they always rank pretty high, whether it's Leonardtown Elementary School, Captain Walter Francis Duke, or Leonardtown Middle or Leonardtown High. Now, there's also a private high school called Riken High School that ranks high as well on niche.com. So I put those rankings on there just so you can take a look at those different rankings and get an idea. And again, if you're looking to move to a new area, I can't recommend enough to do that research through niche.com or even bestplaces.net and really figure out and kind of look at those numbers and suss out those numbers to figure out if it's the right fit for you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the cons. So the cons of Leonardtown is if you're living in Leonardtown, you're most likely commuting to the Patuxent River Naval Air Station, or maybe you're commuting up to DC or other areas like that. And the commute can be long. If you're going up to DC, it's a good hour to an hour and a half. If you're commuting to the Pax River, it can be 20 minutes, it can be 25 minutes. So you do have a longer commute. And some people are okay with that, but that is something you need to be mindful of when you're looking at homes in Leonardtown. Now, the other thing, and I said this earlier, was a pro to me, but it might be a con to you, is the shopping is further. So if, again, just like if you're commuting to base, you got about a 20-minute drive. If you're trying to get to Walmart, if you're trying to get to Target, if you're trying to get to other areas in St. Mary's County, you're still looking at that 20-25-minute commute. You're not really in that center of that area like you would be if you're in California, Maryland, or if you're in Lexington Park, or even Mechanicsville or Hollywood. You still got a little bit more of a commute. Two other cons kind of go hand in hand. Property prices are higher. On average, the average home price is about $426,000. Compare that to like California, Maryland's about $320,000, and Lexington Park's about $300,000. That's a pretty sizable increase. And on top of that, you're also going to have to pay some property taxes and some town taxes, since Leonardtown is considered or is an incorporated town. There's other taxes that go along with living in Leonardtown. But that being said, with those cons, a lot of people still find Leonardtown to be the place for them. So don't let those dissuade you. If you're like, man, all those pros really tick the boxes, that's where I want to be. All right, so if you have any questions, or if you need any help, or you want to go tour some properties in Leonardtown, or if you just want to go around and see Leonardtown, use that contact information below. I'd be happy to help you. And again, if this is your first time on the channel and you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, make sure you do that now. Click that subscribe button below, click the bell so you're notified every single time we put out new content.